So at 2-year-old, 1-year-old, they're always running around, they're always doing their thing, right? And doing this just made me think about something. So there are a lot of people that they have kids pretty early on, get into relationships, they don't work out. And I'm starting to understand like the pressure that kids put on relationships. Um, by the way, the stew is simmering in the back. Just real quick commercial break about the stew. While it's simmering in the background, all that flour and the seasonings and the potato, it's all marrying each other. When that heat gets turned up, the potatoes are gonna start to kind of do its thing, and all the herbs and spices are gonna communicate. Something that I did not show you guys is how I season the beef. So yesterday I made like a ginger beef stir fry. That was 1 pack of meat. That pack of meat was less than $10. I think it was probably about 0.75 pounds. It wasn't even a whole pound of beef. What you do is you cut it up real good. Well, whatever. I marinated the beef overnight. So it's very flavorful. It's in the broth and all that good stuff. Well, anyway, back to the whole what I'm starting to realize about relationships. So as I'm talking to you guys, my kids are undoing everything I ever did in this kitchen. Like they're going in the pantries, not pantry, like I have to close that door. They're going, right now, they are helping themselves to pots and pans and they impersonate me. So like if I'm sauteing, sometimes you'll hear the clicking in the background. That's them doing the gesture I do and I'm sauteing. They don't have knives, but they'll take like a toy that's kind of long and they'll act as if they're chopping and all that. And it just made me think about like how, there are people who have kids before they're ready, especially women, and that pressure of having to take care of kids, because it's like it never stops. It's like continuous, right? And I'm starting to kind of understand the resentment towards men. This is what I mean by that. So like a lot of times, men will go forever without seeing their kids or interacting with their kids or take care of their kids. And like the minute they like change one diaper, if they do that, or like the minute they interact with their children, it's like, oh my God, he's such a great father because he took his kids out to McDonald's. But what about all that time in between where mom was taking care of everything and everyone all the time and nobody was ever checking on her or her mental health, especially if she's underage? Should I go there? Okay, teen moms, it's a thing. Before you even know who you are, you got to take care of a kid. But I'm going to cut past that. Let's just talk about people who are super young, in college, have ambitions, want to do all kinds of things with their lives. And a lot of times women get with guys that seem like they're on par with what they got going on and they seem like they're ready for a relationship and they're really not. Now the guy gets to look like a good guy because he's with a girl, and even though it's not working out, he's making it work or whatever. But the girl, on the other hand, has to deal with all the consequences of what comes with being with a guy who's unprepared. And that is very common. And I am so grateful that I'm not dealing with that. I don't even know how to handle that. And in the background, numerous times I've said, hey, stop, boo-boo, stop. And he's not going to stop. If you're dealing with this and you're not prepared for it, it is a lot. Now, luckily for me, I grew up around kids. Well, let me say that. Let me just say this. I love having kids. Like, they're little me's and they're little my husbands, and they act like miniature versions of us. So even with all the annoying banging in the background, they only remind me of me and my husband, and we are the two people that I love more than anybody on this planet. Yeah, whisking with the beef stew, I know that's kind of wild. But I'm telling you, like, you just keep letting it simmer down. The reason why you want to whisk it is because you don't want it to be like, you don't want that lumpy gravy, that whole joke that I told you about with, what's his name, Ricky Smiley. And then sometimes you'll get an annoying situation like this where your food will get stuck in here. You just kind of, spin it around and then just kind of work it out that way. Yeah. But anywho, I said all that stuff about the relationship stuff just to say I am really starting to understand women. For the longest time, I was like, what's wrong with women? Just like how the red pillars are. But now that I'm actually, a mom, it's different when I was a wife with no kids and I thought I couldn't have kids. That's a completely different dynamic. But for women who had kids and they thought that they were with the right one, it's it's brutal. And most people be like, oh, if you're having such a hard time, then why didn't you just make sure you got the right one? You don't know. There's so many ways that you don't know. Like the average person don't know. Now and then you get somebody who get lucky. I feel like I'm the lucky one, or at least one of the lucky ones. So anyway, let's talk about the other group of women that are like, I want a provider male or a high value man or whatever. So this is the behind the scenes. It's very hectic. I know I seem like I'm maybe cool and composed about it, but I am balancing 5 different things. While my husband's out providing and everything, I'm keeping the house in order. I'm potty training one kid. I'm getting another kid ready. And I'm also cooking multiple meals. I have meals already in the refrigerator. You have to cook ahead because you never know what will happen. Shouts out to all those women out there that feel like they don't have to cook because they have a degree. Not that I'm taking a jab. I'm just telling you, this stuff really adds up, and eating takeout is really not worth it. Now, I'm not doing no super duper Food Network Iron Chef type deal. I'm just throwing something together, right? I used to really, really take my time with the roux, but as you can see, I'm just throwing that pot together, and yeah, it might seem like I'm waiting, but I'm watching these two because I'm not just cooking. I'm getting ready to put them in a bath, put them to bed, put leftovers away, clean up the house. Tomorrow morning, have some fresh fruit cut for them.